Hello my dear students, welcome back. What a joy to see you back. How was the quiz? Pretty straightforward and easy, am I right? Good. I'm so glad to hear that, and I'm so proud of you because you're doing your quiz and then you're coming back to learn more. That's the beauty about you being a student in Scohi Math Big 3. And Mr. Max, so proud of you that you're Mr. Max student as well. Alright my dear students, in this sub lesson we're going to learn about addition and subtraction involving fraction algebraic. Okay, so in other words, algebraic fractions. Alright, what do I mean by that? Now let's say, for example, let's look at some of the basic things that you need to know about addition involving fraction. Okay, let's say if I had to have 3 over 5 plus 1 over 5. When I have a common denominator, okay, I can add the numerator. And same thing with the subtraction, you gotta have a common denominator. So in this case, when I'm adding, the denominator has to be common. So I can add 3 plus 1 is 4 over 5. I just carry the denominator across. If it's subtraction, 3 over 5 minus 1 over 5, it's a common denominator, I can subtract. So 3 minus 1 is 2 over 5. See that? Very important. In order to perform the addition or the subtraction operation, you have to have a common denominator. If it's not a common denominator, you got to find it, okay, such a way that it's a common denominator in order to add or subtract. Now let's say, for example, if I put it in the form of an algebraic expression, okay, let's say, for example, if I say x over 5 plus x over 5. See that? So they both are common denominators. So x plus x is like 1 apple plus 1 apple, 2 apples. See that? The same thing. So it becomes 2x over 5. Now let's see if I had to give you 3x over 5 plus x over 5. See, that's a common denominator. I can add this. 3x plus x, 4x, okay? So that gives me 4x over 5. I just carry the denominator across. The same thing with the subtraction. Let's say if I give you 3x over 5 minus x over 5. Common denominator. So that means 3x minus x is 2x, okay? So in other words, I can rewrite it this way. 3x minus x over 5 equals to 3x minus x. In other words, 3 apples minus 1 apple, 2 apples. So in other words, 2x right there. As long as they're common denominator. Okay, so keep in mind, always check the denominator. They're same, just perform the operation. Alright, so let's see if I give you something like this. If I give you 3x plus 2 over 6 plus, let's say, 5x minus 4 over 6. Common denominator, so I can combine this, I can add them. Alright, so I got 3x plus 2 plus, make sure you put it in the form of bracket. Alright, make it as a habit, over 6. See, I'm adding this too. See that? So now this is plus and plus becomes plus. Alright, so it becomes 3x plus 2, open the bracket, plus 5x. So plus and minus is minus, so then you put 4 over 6. See that? Now the x and x you combine, the number and number you combine. So 3x plus 5x gives you 8x. See that? 8x. 2 minus 4. You have and you owe, but you owe more than you have. So that means you're going to owe, still you're going to owe but less. So 4 minus 2 is 2. So it's going to be negative 2 because you still owe over 6 right there. Now look at this. You can simplify. Alright? How do I do that? I extract 2 out. So when I extract 2 out, left is what? 4x minus 1, because this is 2 times 1 and this is 4 times 2. So I took the 2 out right there. Left is what? 4x, and I took the 2 out, 1 over 6. Now I can simplify. I can divide this by 2, give me 1. I can divide this by 2, give me 3. So your final answer should be 4x minus 1 over 3. So very important, okay? After you done that, you simplify it. Alright, you cannot leave it the answer like this. This should be a final answer. Now let's say, for example, if this would have been minus. So let's say if I give you 3x plus 2 over 6 minus 5x minus 4 over 6. Common denominator. That means I can subtract. So because they already are common, 6 and 6, that means I can write this way: 3x plus 2 minus bracket 5x minus 4. very important, especially when you're dealing with minus. Be generous in putting a brackets, okay? So now open the bracket, okay? So you got 3x plus 2, very important, okay? So you got the negative here. Now this is positive, so negative and positive, negative 5x, negative and negative, positive, and then put 4. See that? Very important, okay? Especially when you have a minus, make sure put the bracket and then open the bracket, distribute the negative, all right, over 6. Now you got 3x minus 5x. Now remember, 5 is negative, 3 is positive. You owe more than you have, but still you're going to pay off what you owe with the 5, am I right? So it's still going to be, you owe. So 5 minus 3 is what? 2, but you're still going to owe. So it's going to be negative 2x, 2 plus 4. See, positive 2, positive 4. So 2 plus 4 is 6. Plus 6 over 6 right there. Now wait a minute. The 2 and 6, you can take 2 out. Alright, because this is what? Negative 2 times 1 x, and this one is 2 times 3. Alright? Over 6. I can take the 2 out. So when I take the 2 out, left is what? Negative 1x plus 3 over 6. Now I can simplify. I can divide this by 2. I can divide this by 2. So that this one becomes 1 and this one becomes 3. So that becomes negative x plus 3 over 3. Now this one, you can rewrite it as 3 minus x over 3. That's the proper way of doing it, okay? So when you have a negative in the front, if this is a positive, just flip it over. Bring the 3 in the front and put the negative x behind. So it becomes 3 minus x over 3. This is the right way of writing it. Alright? So pretty easy, isn't it? Okay, let Mr. Mac erase the board and we'll talk more about this. Alright? It's getting exciting, isn't it? And I'll be back in a few seconds. Alright, my dear students, now what happens if it's not a common denominator? Let's say, for example, if I have 3 over 5 plus 1 over 2. Can I add that? No. Why? Because this one, the denominator is 5 and this denominator is 2. So they have to be common denominator in order to add them, am I right? Or subtract them, okay? So what would be a common denominator for 5 and 2? A number that 5 can be divided and 2 also can be divided. But you want the smallest common denominator, alright? So the smallest that possible 5 and 2 can divide would be 10, alright? So we're going to say 10 would be the smallest. Now, how do I get from 5 to 10? I multiply that by 2. If I multiply 5 by 2, the denominator, I have to do the same thing with the numerator. So 3 times 2 will be 6. So it becomes 6 over 10. And then what about 2? How do I go from 2 to 10? I multiply that with 5. If I multiply the denominator by 5, I do the same thing with the numerator. So 1 times 5 is 5 right there. So now I can add them. Alright, because they're common denominator, okay? So 6 plus 5 is 11 over 10. Of course, you cannot leave this as in this form, because why? This is an improper fraction. Why is it improper fraction? The numerator is greater than the denominator. Alright, so you have to write down, in 11 there's how many? 10? 1. What is the balance? 1. 1 over 10. Alright, now this is something we learned from your previous year. I'm just trying to give you a comparison. Now if I had to give this in a form of algebraic or form, alright? Okay, let's say for example, if I were to give you, alright, x over 4 plus 2x over 3. And I want to add this. Can I add this? No, why? Because they're not common denominator. Alright, you have to make them to be common denominator. So what would be a number that 4 and 3 can be divided, but it has to be the least common denominator, which will be 12. 12 can be divided by 4, 12 can be divided by 3. Alright, so we're going to put 12 plus 12. Now, how do I go from 4 to 12? I multiply 4 by 3. If I multiply the denominator by 3, I multiply the numerator by 3. So 3 times x is 3x. Now how do I go from 3 to 12? I multiply 3 by 4. If I multiply 3 by 4, I also, which is denominator, I multiply the numerator also by 4. So 2x times 4, 2 times 4 is 8. So 8x. 8x. Now they're common denominator. Now I can add 3x to the 8x. 3 plus 8 is 11. So makes it 11x over 12 right there. You got it. See that? Pretty easy, isn't it? Same thing applies if it's a subtraction, okay? Let's say if I were to give you 3 over 4 minus 1 over 3. Can I subtract this? No. Why you cannot? Because they're not common denominator. Alright, so you got to make it common denominator, which will be 12 and 12. Okay, from that one. Alright. Okay, so in order to subtract, they have to be what? Common denominator, just like addition. So now if I put 12 and 12, because 12 can be divided by 4, 12 can be divided by 3. How do I go from 4 to 12? I multiply by 3. If I multiply this by 3, I also multiply that by 3. Okay, so 3 times 3 is 9. Alright, now how do I go from 3 to 12? I multiply that by 4. If I multiply the denominator by 4, the numerator also I multiply by 4. So that makes it 4 over 12. Can I subtract now? Yes, definitely, because both has the common denominator. So 9 minus 4 is 5. So 5 over 12. So now if I express in a form of algebraic, let's say for example, I told you, let's say 3x over 4 minus x over 3. Same principle applies. Find the common denominator. What would the common denominator be? 12. 12 and 12. Alright? How do I go from 4 to 12? I multiply that by 3. That means I multiply the numerator also by 3. 3 times 3 is 9. Make sure you put the x, okay? So how do I go from 3 to 12? I multiply that by 4. Then numerator also I multiply that by 4. So 4 times x is 4x. See that? Now, can I subtract this? Yes, why? The both are common denominator. So 9x minus 4x will give me 5x over 12. In other words, 9 apples minus 4 apples, 5 apples. So 9x minus 4x, 5x over 12. Okay, so now let's say for example, if I give you a little bit fancier, let's say if I say 3x plus 2 over 2 and then plus x minus 4 over 3 and ask you to solve this. Don't let this big algebraic expression intimidate you. Nothing should intimidate my dear students, okay? Because why? You belong to Scoring Math Victory. You look at the problem and say, you know what? Nothing is impossible. I belong to Scoring Math Victory and I should be able to solve that. Because the Mac is here to help you to learn this. Alright? Okay, good. Now, can we add this? We can't. Why? Because this is 2 and this is 3. They're not common denominator. So we got to find a common denominator. What would be a common denominator for 2 and 3? A number that 2 and 3 can be divided. But we want this least common denominator, which would be 6. See that? 6 can be divided by 2. 6 can be divided by 3. Alright? So we're going to put 6. Now how do I go from 2 to 6? I multiply 2 by 3. If I multiply denominator by 3, I have to multiply the numerator also by 3. See that? So that means, let's put the 3 in the front here. So we're going to distribute the 3 right there. So 3 times 3 is 9x plus 3 times 2 is 6. See that? And then I'm going to put a plus back here. How do I go from 3 to 6? I multiply 3 by 2. If I multiply the denominator by the 2, numerator also I'm going to multiply. Let's put it right in the front there. So 2 times x is 2x. In other words, I'm distributing the 2. Alright, using the shooting arrow method. Okay, so 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 4, make sure it's negative, negative 8. So 2, negative 4, the negative here, 2 times 4 is 8. Now, can I add them? Yes. Why is that? Because the denominators are common. So I can join them. So I can write down 9x plus 6 plus 2x minus 8. The whole thing over 6. Alright? Now, usually for the plus, you don't have to worry about it because the sign is going to stay the same. Alright? Only with the negative you got to pay attention because this one pretty much will be what? So will be 9x plus 6 plus 2x minus 8 over 6. Combined by the family. X and x can be added. 9x plus 2x, 11x. 6 minus 8, you have and you owe, but you owe more than you have. So you're going to owe, you're still going to owe but less. So 8 minus 6 is 2. So you're still going to owe, so it's going to be negative 2 over 6. Can I factor anything out of this? No. So you leave it like this. That's your final answer right there. Alright? Okay, good. Let Mr. Mac erase the board and we'll do the subtraction. Okay, let Mr. Mac erase this side. Alright? And then we'll do the subtraction problem. Alright? And I'll be back with you in a few seconds. Alright, Alright, my dear students, let's say for example, Mr. Mac to give you, let's say 6x plus 2 over 5 minus, let's say 4x minus 3 over 3, and ask you to solve this. Can I solve this? Not yet. I can, but not yet. Why? They're not a common denominator. Okay, so you got to change them, the denominator to be common. So what would be the least common that you can think of that 5 and 3 can be divided by? 15. Okay, 15 can be divided by 5, 15 can be divided by 3. So what you're going to do is you're going to put 2 lines and then put a minus there. We're going to put 15 here and 15 there. Alright, how do I go from 5 to 15? By multiplying it by 3. If I multiply the denominator by 3, the numerator also I multiply by 3. Very important, okay, the fairness. If you multiply that by 3, you got to multiply the numerator also by 3. Now, I'm going to use the shooting arrow method, okay, or shooting star method. 3 times 6, 18x. So I'm going to put 18x plus 3 times 2, 6. Right there. So I converted this into this form. They're still the same. It's just that I'm multiplying 3 and for numerator and 3 for the denominator, so that they will have a common denominator. Alright? Now let's do for this side. So how do I go from 3 to 15? I multiply that by 5. If I multiply the denominator by 5, I multiply the numerator also by 5. So I'm going to use the shooting star method. 5 times 4 is 20x. Alright, now just don't worry about this negative because we put it right there. So only use the 5, alright? 5 times negative 3 give me negative 15. Alright, so now can I subtract? Yes, the common denominator. Alright, now be careful when I combine them. Make sure you put them in a bracket. Very important, this way. Bracket, alright? And the whole thing over 15. Alright? Very important, pay attention. This negative, this whole thing, bracket. Now you open the bracket, so you distribute the negative. Very important. Okay, you're going to see that's going to change. The sign's going to change when I open the bracket. Alright, so you got 18x plus 6, negative and positive becomes negative 20x, negative and negative, positive 15 over 15. Alright, now I combine the x with the x, number with the number. So combine them by the family. Alright, so mathematics is very particular. It only combines with the same kind. In other words, if it's an x, it's only x. If it's the x squared, you cannot combine with the x. It has to be identical unknowns, alright, or the variables or terms. Alright, so 18x minus 20x. Let's just take the number first. Negative 20 and positive 18. You owe more than you have. So you're still going to owe, but you're going to owe less. Okay, you're still going to owe. See, that's still going to be negative. 20 minus 18 is 2. So it'll be 2x. 6, positive 6, positive 15. So 6 plus 15 will be 21. Alright, plus 21 over 15. Now you don't want to leave the negative in the front, so you want to switch it, the switch position. So you want to say 21 minus 2x over 15 right there. Same thing, it's just that it looks nicer this way, more proper. Alright, mathematics also has its own things. It's like, I like to look nice, I look like proper. So that's what it is. Kind of like you. Do you want to walk around shirt? Not, one shirt is like you're all unbuttoned up, one collar is up. No, you want to look nice, am I right? When you go to the public, you want to present yourself nice. If you see a coffee stain on your shirt, are you going to wear that shirt or dress? Of course not, because you want to look nice to the public. The same thing, mathematics takes a pride. He said, I want my answer to look nice. Like that. You write it this way. This is nothing wrong with it. It's just that it's not look right. Like Mr. Max wearing a shirt inside out. All the text showing, all the seam inside showing out. You said, Mr. Max, you got your shirt inside out. Am I right? You'll tell me that, isn't it? The same thing. This one says, well, if you really show to someone like scoring math with a student like you, when you look at this problem, you should be right. You say, something is not done right, not shown right, not written right. All right? There you go. You express it in this form. All right, my dear students. Can we factor anything out? No. All right? 21 and 2, that's nothing common. I can factor out to simplify with 15. So this is it right there. That's your answer. Pretty easy, isn't it? Straightforward, okay? Good. Let Mr. Mac erase the board and we'll talk more, and I'll be back in a few seconds. Alright, my dear students, now let's see, for example, Mr. Mac to give you 3x over, let's say, y plus 2x over y. Now this time I give you in a form of unknown and like a variable, alright? So are they common? Yes, because y and y. So I can add them. See, that very important. Doesn't have to be a number. Okay, if I give you in a form of y and y are unknown, as long as they are common, I can add. So I can say 3x plus 2x over y. So in other words, 3x plus 2x is 5x over y, right there. Okay, now what about if I do this way? 3x over y plus 2x over 3y. Now, can I add that? No, I cannot. Why? Because they're not common denominator. They have to be common. See that? Alright, so y and 3y. So in this case, y is y, but only that common is what? 3. This one doesn't have a 3. So in order for me to make this one 3, I multiply. So in other words, I want to make this both common. So 3y and 3y. Alright, so this is pretty much same. I just put 2x over 3y. This is the one I'm changing. So how do I go from y to 3y? I multiply that by 3. If I multiply the denominator by 3, what do I do to the numerator? Also I times that with 3. Alright, so 3 times 3 is 9x. See, now they're common, so I can add them. Alright, so 9x plus 2x is 11x. 11x over 3y. Right there. Very important, okay? They have to be common in order to add. In this case, it's not common, all right? Because we had it initially what? 3x over y plus 2x over 3y. All right? They're not common. So I have to make it common. Now I can add them. Very important, okay? So now let's say, for example, if I just subtract, let's say if I have, let's say 5x over 4y minus 2x over 3y. Are these common? No. So I have to make it common. So what would be common? See, you got y and y. The only thing that's not common is a 4 and 3. So I have to make 4 and 3 to be a common denominator. Alright, so then how about if I say 12y? So because 4 times 3 is 12, that means 12 can be divided by 4, 12 can be divided by 3. Alright, so I'm going to say 12y and 12y. How do I go from 4y to 12y? I multiply this by 3. If I multiply this by 3, I multiply that also by 3. So 3 times 5 is 15, and then I just bring the x back, minus. How do I go from 3y to 12y? I multiply this by 4. 3 times 4 is 12. Y, that means I multiply the numerator also by 4. Alright, so 2 times 4 is 8. And then bring the x back, right there. So now, can I subtract them? Yes. 15 minus 8 is 7. And then bring the x, okay? Because it's 15 apples minus 8 apples. So you got to say 7 apples, not just 7 apples. See that? Same thing. So 15x minus 8x is 7x. And then you bring the denominator back, right there. Can I simplify? No. 7, I cannot divide any common for 7 and 12. So you leave it that way. Now, let's say if it's been like this. 6x over 12y. Yes, this one, yes, I can simplify. Because I can divide this by 6. I can divide this by 6. That makes it 1. Okay, and this one becomes 2. So it'll be x over 2y. Because the x is going to stay. That 1, you don't have to show. You don't have to show. You just put x. 2y. If it's 6x over 12y. But in this case, it's 7x over 12y. You cannot simplify. You just leave it this as a final answer. See that? Very important, okay? So keep in mind, even if it's an unknown or variable I give you as a denominator, they still have to be common. Alright? Okay, let Mr. Mac erase the board. We'll talk more. We'll talk more. It's getting so exciting, alright? I told you, math is always fun. The more you learn, the more you understand, the funner it gets. Okay? I'll be back in a few seconds. Alright, my dear students. Now let's say, for example, if I give you 3x plus 2 over x plus 1 plus 5x minus 4 x plus 1. Can I add this? Definitely yes. Why? They both are common. X plus 1, x plus 1. Doesn't matter. See that? They are common. So I can combine them. So I can put 3x plus 1. Since it's a plus, you can just start right away. Plus 5x minus 4 over x plus 1. See that? Only if it's a minus, you cannot write like this. Make sure you make bracket, because even if I put a bracket right now, when I open it, it will still stay the same. Alright? Now I can combine them. I can add x with the x, number with the number. 3x plus 5x, 8x. 1 minus 4. I have and I owe, but I owe more than I have. So it's going to be still O but less. Alright? So it's still going to be O minus 4 minus 1 is 3 over x plus 1. Can I simplify? No. That's it right there. Pretty easy, isn't it? Okay, good. Now let's do another one. Let's say, for example, there's a minus. Right? Say if I give you, let's say 6x minus 4 over 3x plus 1 minus 4x minus 2 over 3x plus 1. Can I subtract this? Definitely yes. Why? Common denominators. Alright, they're common. So that means I can combine them. Alright, so I can write 6x minus 4 negative minus, very good, put a bracket, very important when you have a minus, when you're subtracting operation, put a bracket and then put 4x minus 2. Very important when you combine them like this. Alright, then you open the bracket, because you're going to see that sign changes. Alright, for plus it doesn't, but minus does when you're dealing with subtraction. Okay, negative and positive, negative 4x, negative and negative, positive 2. See that? Over 3x plus 1. 6x minus 4x. See that? This one and this one. Now remember, how do I know 4x is minus? The in front. What's in front of that number or the variable is that operation. That's the sign. Negative, it's a negative operation. If it's a positive, you're adding a positive operation. Alright, if it's a negative, you're subtracting. Okay, in front. For me to identify you, I have to come to the front. Can I tell you from the back? No, I have to come to the front. Ah, Mr. Max, dear student, see that? The same thing with the number in the front. What shows that? Minus. So that means 4x is a negative 4x. So 6x minus 4x. 6 minus 4 is 2x. Negative 4 plus 2. I owe more than I have. So it's still going to be negative. In other words, I'm still going to owe. 4 minus 2, 2. Over 3x plus 1. Now you can factor the 2 out. I can take the 2 out. Because you know that when I took the 2 out, left is x. When I take the 2 out of this one, because this is 2 times 1. I took the 2 out, left is 1. You can write it like this also. Because sometimes in a multiply choice, they can give you A, B, C. They can give it this way. But you're looking like this. You say, well, you're looking for it. But this is the right answer. This is the final one. So they could have given you this one. Alright? Okay, so you should know how to factor, extract them out. Alright? So it's very important. Even if it is form of algebraic expression as a denominator, they have to be a common denominator. Otherwise you cannot add them or subtract them. So you have to make them to a common denominator. Okay? Alright, good. Let Mr. Mac erase the board and we'll talk more. Yes, more. It's going to be getting funner and funner. Alright? I'll be back in a few seconds. Alright, my dear student, now let's say, for example, Mr. Mac to give you, let's say 5x minus 2 over, now Mr. Mac's been using x and y. Now it can be any letters, okay? It could be M, it can be U, it could be V, alright? So don't think only it has to be x, alright? It's just that easier for Mr. Mac just to put x on it, alright? Okay, but even though you're going to see a lot of those, when you go to the higher level of mathematics, they'll be using x and y a lot, alright? Even though they will be utilizing other letters. But keep in mind, doesn't mean Mr. Max using x is only applied to x or y. It could be, alright, let's just put m this time, okay? So 5m minus 2, let's say Mr. Max said m plus 1, and then let's say plus 5m plus 2, and then 2 times m plus 1. All right, or maybe because Mr. Max been doing +1 all the time, let's put +4. Doesn't matter, okay? It's just that random. I just want you to understand the principle. Don't look at the numbers or the letters or the variables, okay? Look what Mr. Max is doing. What is the principle? Learn that one. Understand. Don't try to understand the letters, the word, the numbers that I'm using. I want you to understand the principle. The key thing is what? The common denominators. Then only you can combine them. If they're not common, you cannot. So you got to make them to be a common. All right? Look at this. Are these common? They're not. But how do I make that into common? M plus 4, M plus 4. But this one is times 2. So I want to times 2 to this one also. So that means if I times this by 2, I also times the numerator also by 2. Now, are they common denominators? Yes, they are. Now I can combine them. Now I can say, okay, 2M plus 4. All right, open the bracket. You use the shooting arrow method. 2 times 5, 10M. 2, negative 2. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. Plus, because it's plus, I'm just going to rewrite 5M plus 2. All right, so 5M plus 2. Now I can combine them, okay, according to the families or terms. All right, so 10M plus 5M, 15M's. Okay, so 15M, negative 4 plus 2. I owe more than I have, so I'm going to still owe but less. Okay, so still owe negative. So 4 minus 2 is 2. And then 2M plus 4. Right there. That's it. See that? It's pretty easy. Same thing apply if it's a minus. Alright? So let's say it's the Mac to give you minus. Okay, let's say. Alright? Let's say 3. I know Mr. Max been using 3 a lot. Okay, let's just change. Okay, let's say 7. Okay, 7U minus 2 over, let's say, 4U minus 3 minus 4U plus 4 over, let's say, 3 times 4U minus 3. Right there. Or Mr. Mac could have done this way. Let's say, for example, okay, I could have done this way. 12U minus 9. And ask you to solve this. He said, wow, how do I know this is 4U minus 3, but this one's 12U minus 9? How about if I factor a common number out of the 12 and 9? Look what happens. 7U minus 2 over 4U minus 3 minus 4U plus 4. Okay, so I can take a common. What is a common? I can take it out from 12U and 9. I can take 3 out. When I take 3 out, look what happens. 3 becomes 4U minus 3. Because why? This is 3 times 4 and this is 3 times 3. I took a 3 out of that, left is what? 4U. When I take 3 out of the 3 times 3 is 9, took a 3 out of that, left is what? 3. See? Now look at this. 4U minus 3, 4U minus 3. But except this one has 3 to it. So that does not qualify them as a common denominator. So I have to make this one also to have a 3. That means I have to multiply this whole thing by 3 and that one also by 3. Because whenever you multiply numerator or denominator by 3, you have to multiply the numerator also by 3. It's very important. Alright? Okay, so now look at that. Now I can expand this out. Alright, I can combine them. Okay, so let's do that. So now this is a common denominator. 3 times 4U minus 3. So shooting star method. 3 times 7, 21U. 3 times 2 is 6 and it's a minus bracket 4U plus 4. Very important. Alright, because we're going to open and expand and distribute a negative to this. Alright, so that makes it 21U minus U, negative 4U, because negative and positive, negative and positive is negative 4 over 3, 4U minus 3. See that? Now the U and U I can combine. So 21U minus 4U. So 21 minus 4, it's 17U. Okay, 17U. And then negative 6, negative 4. I owe more. Okay, you owe 6 and you owe 4. That means you're going to owe more. So 6 plus 4 is 10. So you're going to owe 10 minus 4. All right, over 3, 4U minus 3. Right there. See, I told you it's very easy. The principle, just understand the principle. The principle is what? They got to be common denominator. If they're not, make them to be a common denominator. Pay attention to the negative. Pay attention to distributing that, opening the brackets, all that. everything that you learned. Nothing is new to you, am I right? We learn how to deal with the negative numbers. We learn how to distribute expand the brackets. Am I right? See that? Everything is built on top of each other. Everything that you learned from the past has been brought together and built. You're building a castle right now. Alright. Okay, so let Mr. Beck erase the board. We got one more thing to learn, alright? And then we'll do some hands-on practice. And I'll be back within a few seconds. Alright, my dear student, now let's say, for example, Mr. Mac to give you 3 over m plus 4 over n. Look at this, m and n. Can I add them? No, why? Because, good job, they're not common denominator, because this one is denominator is m and this denominator is n. So I cannot combine them, so I have to make it common. So what do? How about if I multiply this by n and this by m? Now look at that, mn. If I multiply the denominator by n, what do I do to the numerator? Also n, very important, okay? You got to be fair, okay? If you do it for the denominator, you got to do it for the numerator as well. Now what about this one? Same thing. You multiply m for the denominator, the numerator also get m. The numerator is like, you cannot just give the denominator, I need to have also. There you go. You say, I will be fair. M for the denominator, m for the numerator. N for the denominator, n for the numerator. So that makes what? 3n over mn plus 4m over mn. Can I add them now? Yes, you can. So now it becomes 3n plus 4m over mn. It's a 3 apples plus 4 oranges. We cannot add them. So we just leave it like that. Alright, your answer is this. That's your final answer right there. Alright? Pretty easy, isn't it? Okay, let's say for example, Mr. Mac to give you, let's say 5r plus over, let's say 7, let's say q, okay? And then 3q over 7r. Can I add this? No, why? 7, 7, but the variable, the unknown is not common. It's q and r. So I have to make them common. Doesn't matter 7, 7, but everything has to be identical. Am I right? So that means I'm going to multiply this by r and this by q. See that? So what would that be? qr and qr. But wait a minute. I multiply the denominator by r. What do I have to do the numerator? Also I multiply that by r. I multiply the denominator by q. What do I have to do here? Also by q. Very important. Pay attention to that. Very important. If you don't do it there, the answer is wrong. Alright? If you multiply the denominator by r, you got to multiply the numerator by r. Multiply by q, your numerator also q. See that? Alright, so that makes it r times r is what? R squared. So 5r squared plus 3q squared over 7qr, 7qr. See, we rearrange it this way. So rq, same thing as qr. Now, can I add them? Yes, okay. So that makes it 5r squared plus 3q squared over 7qr. Right there. That's your final answer right there. Alright? Now what about subtraction? Same thing. Same thing, addition and subtraction. It's just that subtraction you subtract, with addition you add. Okay, so let's say Mr. Mac to give you, okay, 3x minus 2 over, let's say, x, and then minus 4y plus 3 over y. What do? That's it. Make sure the x and y are common denominator. So in this case I got x, in this case I got a y. I want to make them common. So that means I'm going to multiply this by y, I'm going to multiply this by x. Alright? So y and x. So this will be xy, xy. Now if I multiply the denominator by y, what do I have to do to the numerator? Also y. If I multiply the denominator by x, what do I do to the numerator? Also x. See that? So I multiply by x, I x, y, I y. Now you distribute. Okay? Expand. Using the shooting arrow method. Alright? So 3 times y times 3x gives me 3xy minus 2y. Okay, so right now we're just expanding. Okay, so negative x. Okay, so now be careful, you got a negative x right there. So let's put like this, let's leave it like this for right now. I want to make sure you pay attention to this. Okay, let's say xy. All right, now we're going to open this bracket. That's why Mr. Mac to rewrite it, because I want you to pay attention to this negative. Very powerful. Don't underestimate the power of negative. All right, so we want to distribute negative x for this and that right there. All right, so let's do that. So we already did this one for y. We already got this. Okay, so y times 3x give me 3xy. Y negative 2 times negative 2 give me negative 2y. Now we're going to distribute this negative x, because y is the x, because I multiply the denominator by x, I multiply the numerator also by x. All right, okay, let's distribute them. Or you could have done this. You can just distribute the x first and then you open the bracket. You could have done that, but let's do it together. Alright, so you got 3xy minus 2y, negative and positive, negative. X times 4y, 4xy. Negative and positive, negative. 3 times x, 3x over xy. See that? Alright, I hope you, so pay attention how I came to all this. Alright, okay, good. Now I can combine the 3xy with the negative 4xy. 3 and negative 4. They're both the same terms, so I can combine them. Alright, so I have, I owe, but I owe more than I have. So you're still going to owe but less. So owe 4 minus 3 is 1, so xy. This one is negative 2y, this one is negative 3y. You cannot combine them. This is apple and orange. You cannot combine. See that? Or you cannot subtract them or add them. So you just rewrite it. Negative 2y, negative 3x over xy. Alright? Now you can take this one out. Just leave it as negative xy minus 3x minus 2y. You can arrange it in an order like that too, whichever you want. Alright, but just keep in mind, alright, you can write it in an order whichever you want, because I cannot put x first and then y. I put xy first and then x and then y. Doesn't matter. Alright, as long the negatives are maintained. Alright, let's review this again. Alright, okay, I want to make sure you understand this. Alright, okay, let's review this back. So I gave you 3x minus 2x and then 4y plus 3y over y. So they're not common denominators. So to make the common denominator, I multiply this by y and this by x. Why did I do that? So this one becomes xy, xy. Okay, so in order to make them common denominator, so since I multiplied this by y, the denominator, I multiplied the numerator also by y. Since I multiplied the denominator by x, I multiplied the numerator also by x. Okay, very important. Then what I did, I distribute the y. Alright, so you get 3xy minus 2y. Alright, see, y times 3x become 3xy. Y times negative 2 give me negative 2y. And then I kind of rewrote this because I want you to pay attention to the bracket, because you got negative here. Because when you distribute, it's going to change the sign. So now I'm going to distribute negative x to 4y, negative x to 3. Negative y, negative and positive, negative. X times 4y, 4xy. Negative and positive, negative. X times 3, 3x. xy. Now I can combine these two. The same family, same term. 3xy minus 4xy, negative xy, because you owe more than you have. So 4 minus 3 is 1, and then because you're going to still owe, because you owe more than you have, so it's going to be negative. So negative xy. I kind of took the 1 away. You don't have to show that. And then I put negative 2y minus 3y, because this is y and x. You cannot combine them. So I wrote it back. And then I rearranged it. I put x first and then y next. That's what I did. Pretty much, okay? See that? Pretty easy, isn't it? Alright, how we do this? What about we do this? Let's do hands-on practice. This way you will understand better. Alright? You practice on your own first, and then Mr. Mac come in and we'll work together and understand better, further, and make you the best. And you're always the best. Alright, my dear students. Let's see what Paolo's doing. As usual, our dear Pablo, as usual, he's busy putting the hands-on practice together for our dear students. Alright, my dear students, let Mr. Mac erase the board and then we'll call Pablo and we'll have fun, okay? And I'll be back in a few seconds. Alright, my dear students, are you ready for some hands-on practice? I know you are. Well, Mr. Mac is, and let's see if Pablo is. Oh, here he is. Alright, Pablo, come on over, Pablo. The moment we didn't call him yet, he already came forward because he's already ready and he knows you are ready and Mr. Mac's ready. Alright, my dear students, here's Pablo. He's going to hand over the worksheet and have fun with it. Now, be sure to pause the video. Once you're done, invite Mr. Mac in. And here it is. Have fun. Alright, how was it? Pretty easy, isn't it? Piece of cake. I know it is for my dear students. Alright, let's do it together, okay? So you can compare notes. Let's do the first one. Now the question says simplify the following, okay? So 1a. So let's do 1a. You're given 3v over 5 plus v over 5. So are they common denominators? Yes, they are. Alright, so 3v plus 1v. So this is pretty much 1. You don't see it, but there's 1 there. Alright, so 3 plus 1 is 4v over 5. Why am I adding them? Because denominators are common. Alright, so I can add them. Alright, if they're not common, I cannot add them. Okay, good. Alright, let's look at B. Now B, you're given 16z over 3xyz minus 4z over 3xyz. Now, can I subtract them? Definitely yes. Why is that? Because they both are 3xyz, 3xyz. Common denominator. That means I can take 16z minus 4z. 16 minus 4 gives me 12. So it will be 12z. Alright? So 12z over 3xyz. Now, do I leave the answer like this? No, you always simplify. Very important. Once you get to the answer, simplify it. Alright, you know z and z I can cancel out. Now this one, 12, I can divide that by 3. 3 I can divide by 3. So that gives me 12 divided by 3 is 4. So 4, z's gone. Left is over 3 divided by 3 is 1. 1xy. Now you don't have to put 1. You just put 4 over xy. Alright, so 1, you don't have to express that out. Alright, so it's not normal. You just write it like this. This is normal. Okay, it's not wrong. I'm not saying it's wrong. It's just that you don't show the 1. You just said 4 over xy. That looks score A Math Victory students writing answer. Alright, this is score A Math Victory students answer. Alright, good. Let's go to C. Okay, C is given 6u plus 7 over 2u minus 3, and then minus 4u minus 8 over, okay, 8 over 2u minus 3. Can I subtract? Definitely yes. Why? Because they're common denominator. Okay, then I can subtract. But look at that subtraction. So make sure you put a bracket. Be generous in putting brackets. Okay, so we're going to put 6u plus 7 minus bracket 4u minus 8. Alright, when you combine them, make sure you put the bracket. Very important. Because why? Because we're going to distribute the negative. Okay, because negative and positive becomes negative. So let's rewrite 6u plus 7, negative and negative, positive, negative 4u, negative and negative, positive 8 over 2u minus 3. Now look for the same terms. So family, 6u minus 4u, 2u, alright, 2u. 7 plus 8, 15, so plus 15, alright, over 2u minus 3. Can I cancel like this? No, you cannot, because there's a plus and minus in between them. Alright, you cannot do that. You leave it the answer like this. You can factor them out and see if you can cancel it, but not like this. Can I factor anything out? Nothing. I can factor from this or that. Alright, so you leave it like that. Alright? Don't ever try to simplify like this. Okay? You cannot do that because plus is splitting these two terms by plus and minus. So you cannot cancel them out. Alright? Okay, good. And that should be your final answer right there for C. Okay, good. Let's do D. 8a minus 4 over 3 times a plus 2 minus 5a minus 2 over a plus 2. When you're given a problem like this, the first thing you need to ask yourself is, are they common denominators? Okay, do they have the same denominators? And look at it, 3a plus 2 and an a plus 2. Doesn't look alike, am I right? Because this one got 3, this one doesn't. So what do? Just times 3 for this one. So that way it will become common. See, that now looks same, isn't it? But can I just leave it like that? No, because if I multiply this by 3, the denominator, I have to do the same thing with the numerator. See that? Now it's correct. Alright? So let's rewrite that. So it becomes 8a minus 4 over 3a plus 2 minus, so 3 times 5a minus 2 over 3a plus 2. Okay, right there. Now they have common denominator. So now I can, alright? Now you can go ahead and distribute this if you want. And then pretty much you will have 8a minus 4 over 3a plus 2 minus, so you got 15a. 3 times 5 is 15a. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. I didn't distribute the negative yet, so I just distribute the 3. Alright, I just distribute the 3. Okay, now I can combine them, put a straight line. Alright, so put 3a plus 2 as a denominator. Then I'm going to write down 8a minus 4 negative and positive will be what? Negative 15a, negative and negative plus 6. See that? That's the one you got to pay attention. Okay? Negative and positive, negative, negative and negative, positive. When you expand them, open the bracket. Okay? So now I can combine them based on their family members. In other words, terms. 8a minus 15a. I owe more than I have. So you're still going to owe but less. Okay? So I'm still going to owe negative 15 minus 8, 7. So 7a. Negative 4 plus 6. Now 6 minus 4 is 2. Alright? Over 3a plus 2. 3 times bracket a plus 2. Right there. Pretty easy. Because you're a Mr. Max student. That's why it's so easy. And you got it. Alright? You got it. Good job. Okay, good. Let Mr. Mac erase the board and we'll do the other problems. And I'll be back in a few seconds. You ready for E? Let's do it. Okay, let's do E. Now, E you're given, okay, 2m plus 4 over m plus 3 plus m minus 5 over 2m plus 6. And I'm adding them. Can I add them? No. Why no? Very good. M plus 3, 2m plus 6. So what am I going to do? I'm going to find a common denominator to add. That's right. If I to take the 2 out, I extract, in other words, I factor the 2 out. Look what happens. 2m plus 4 over m plus 3 plus m minus 5. I'm rewriting, except this one, I'm taking the 2 out. Look what happens when I took 2 out. 2 out, m left. When I take 2 out of the 6, which is 2 times 3, I take the 2 out, left is what? 3. Look at that, m plus 3, except this one got 2, this one doesn't. What do I do then? I multiply this by 2. Now the common denominator. But do I leave it like that? No, Jose. Why? Because I got to multiply the numerator also by 2. Now I'm correct. Now it's good. Now the common denominator. Now I can combine the numerators, okay? Because they're common denominators. So let's expand that. In other words, distribute the 2 using the shooting arrow method. 2 times 2 is 4, 4m. 2 times 4 is 8. Plus m minus 5 over 2m plus 3. 2 times m plus 3. Alright? So now m and m I can combine. 4m plus m is 5m. 8 minus 5 is 3 over 2m plus 3 right there. That's it. That's it. Now let's say, for example, okay, not just out of the question, okay, let's say for example if this would have been like this. Let's say 5m plus 15 over 2m plus 3. Let's say the answer to be like this. Do I leave the answer like this? No. No, this is, we are done. I'm just going to give you, let's say after you do it came out to be like this. Do I leave it like that? No. Why? I can factor 5 out. See what happens when I factor 5 out. So you know that when I take 5 out of the 5m, left is, okay, m plus, this one is what? 5 times 3. I took the 5 out, left is 3 over 2m plus 3. See, I can cancel this 2 out. Left is what? 5 over 2. Do I leave it like this? No, this is an improper fraction. So in 5 there's how many? 2? 2. So 2 left is 1 over 2. Right there. That should be a final answer. If this to come out like this. I'm just example, okay? Now this is done. In this question, this is the answer. But I'm just saying, in let's say in future mathematics and in future problems, if I give you, let's say in quiz, you're going to have something like that. That will eventually you may have to cancel out, give you like this. Alright? So I want you to know that, okay? Don't leave it the answer like this. You can simplify further. That's why they say simplify the following. Simplify means to the reduce to the lowest term. Such way that you can't simplify any further. Alright? Okay, good. That's E. Now let's do F. Now F, we're given, okay, 8x plus, okay, given 8x plus 5 over 2x minus 4y minus 6 over 3y. Can I subtract them? Definitely no. Why? Because they're not common denominators. They are different. This is 2x, this is 3y. So I got to find a common. First, look at it. This one got x, this one got y. So what about if I times this by y and times this by x? See, xy, xy. Okay, that's good, isn't it? But still 2 and 3. So I want to make it common. So what about, okay, let's not modify it. Let's go down here, right? Much better. Okay, so we got 2x and 3y. So I want to make this xy. So I times this by y, I times this by x. Still not good. Why? Because this is 2 and 3. So we still need to find a common that 2 and 3 can be divided. How about 6? So if I times this by 3 and times this by 2, okay? Now look what happens. 3 times 2 is 6, 2 times 3 is 6. Alright? So now they're common, am I right? Now look at that, what is that? 3 times 2 is 6, xy. 2 times 3 is 6, xy. Now what is the things that added to this one? I multiply 3y to this one and 2x to this one. That means if I multiply 3y, that means I have to multiply up here also 3y. So 8x plus 5, because that's the one so I times also here 3y. See that? What about this one? Same thing, 2x. So I multiply 2x to the top here. See that? Now it's good. Okay, because I multiplied this on the denominator, I have to do that with the numerator. I multiplied this to the denominator, I multiplied that also with the numerator. Now this is correct. This is same thing. It's just that I modified the look out of it. But down to the bottom, I'll get to this one. Alright, I didn't change the question. Still the same. It's just that I made it look different such a way that they'll have a common denominators so that I can subtract. Alright, so let's distribute them out. 3y times 8x. 3 times 8 is 24 xy, because y times x is xy, plus, because I'm using the shooting arrow method, okay, 3 times 5 is 15y. Alright, so expanding it. Alright, so this is so far good. Now we're going to keep the minus, so we're just going to distribute the 2x for 4y and the negative 6. Okay, so 2 times 4 is 8, x times y, xy. Minus, see this negative still there, I'm not touching this negative, so I'm just distributing 2x, okay, 2x times 6, 12x. Alright, now the common denominators, so I can combine them. Just put one line with the 6xy as the denominator. So I'm going to rewrite this one, 24xy plus 15y, negative and positive. Remember, there's a bracket there, okay? So negative. Let's just keep that bracket right now. I'm going to do step by step, because I don't want you to mess it up with the negative, all right? Okay, so we're going to open the bracket such a way that the negative can be distributed, okay? So it'll be 24xy plus 15y, negative and positive is going to be negative 8xy, negative and negative, positive 12x. See that? See, I told you, don't underestimate the power of negative. Look at that, plus and minus change to minus and plus because of this negative. Alright? Okay, good. Now I can combine them. 24xy, well, let's put this one, 6xy on the bottom. Alright? So 24xy minus 8xy. So in other words, 24 minus 8, 16xy. So we got 16xy, 15y plus 12x. Apple and orange, can I add them? So just rewrite them, alright? So 15y plus 12x over 6xy, right there. See if you can simplify. Nope, I cannot take any number out of all the three of them, so there's nothing can be factored out to simplify, so I just leave it that's the answer. That's it right there. That's your answer. Pretty easy, isn't it? Okay, good. Now Mr. Mac, erase the board and we'll do problem G and H, and I'll be back in a few seconds. Alright, my dear students, let's do G. Now G you're given, okay, 4r over st minus r over stu. Now are they common denominators? No, because why? stu, there's u in there. That means this one also got to have what? U. Okay, if I multiply u there, what do I do with this one? Also u over there. Alright, so that means what? Becomes 4ru over stu minus r over stu. Now can I subtract them now? Definitely. Why? The common denominator. So very important, okay? See, when you don't have this, you type u there. If you multiply the bottom by u, you also have to multiply the denominator. If you multiply the denominator by u, you also have to multiply the numerator also by u, right there. Alright? So that's right there. Okay? So now I can put a straight line with the stu as a denominator, 4ru minus r. Now, can I factor r out? Yes, you got r here and r there. So take r out, left is 4u minus, this is actually 1 times r. So when I take the r out, left is what? 1. So 1 over stu, right there. That's the proper way of writing it. Alright? Okay, so you factor the r out. So that's what it means, simplifying it. Okay, good. Okay, let's do h. Now, h you are given 6 over 4m squared n minus 4 over mn. Ask yourself, first thing, when you look at a problem, okay, when you look at it, ask yourself, are the denominators identical? They're not. So that means you cannot subtract them or you cannot add them. Am I right? Addition and subtraction, the denominator has to be common, has to be same, identical. So what is missing? Well, this one got m, but this one got m squared. It needs one more m on this one. Alright, so I'm going to times m for that. So what's missing? This one got m squared and this one just m. So I need to make this one m squared also. That means I'm going to times m to that one. So that makes it m squared. And what else missing? Look at this one got 4. This one doesn't have 4. So I'm going to times 4 for this one. Alright, so what I did to the denominator, I times 4m to the denominator. I added this two, this one and that one. I multiplied. That means I'm going to multiply 4m to the numerator also. The numerator say, wait a minute, you give the denominator. What about me up here? Hello? See that? That's what pretty much denominator was telling. The numerator was telling to the denominator. Actually, it's telling to you, my dear students, you gave to the denominator. What about me? I'm the numerator. I also got to get the same thing. That's what you did. There you go. Now it's fair. Now it's even. Alright? Okay, good. So now let's rewrite 6 over 4m squared n minus 4 times 4 is 16m. Now 4 m times m squared n. Now look at that. They're common. Now can I subtract them? Yes, I can combine them. I can put 6 minus 16m over 4m squared n. Now am I done? Can I factor something out? I can factor 2 out of 6 and 16. So when I take 2 out, because this is 3 times 2 and this one is 8 times 2. So I can take 2 out. See that? So left is what? 3 minus 8m over 4m squared n. I can divide this by 2. I can divide this by 2. See that? So this one becomes 1, this one becomes 2. So it becomes 3 minus 8m over 2m squared n. Right there. I cannot simplify anymore. That's the simplest it can get. Because I took the 2 out, that's why 4 from 4 becomes 2. Does that make sense? Alright, pay attention to that, alright? That's my final answer. That's the simplest form. Your goal is to always express in the simplest form. Alright? How was it? Pretty easy, isn't it? You did good? I'm so proud of you. Because why? You're the best. You belong to School A Mathematics 3 and you are Mr. Mac's proudest student. Mr. Mac's so proud of you. Because you're the best. You deserve the best. And that's why Mr. Mac is here to bring the best. And it's coming from the best to the best. Alright, my dear students, this is the end of the sub lesson on this one. Alright, yes, Pablo. Alright, told us time for quiz. Yes, Pablo, it's time for quiz. Thank you. He just dared us. Alright, let's take the dare. Alright, Pablo, we're going to take your challenge. We will do the quiz and then come back to the final sub lesson of this lesson. Alright, my dear student, go get them. Go, Tigers. Go get them. Go have fun with the quiz and then come back, and because Mr. Mac will be here waiting for you for the next sub lesson. The final part of the lesson on this will be the final sub lesson. Alright? Have fun. Bye-bye.